It would be so nice, right? If you just wake up one day and you never ever again worry about what other people think of you. It sounds like almost the ideal world. And I don't think you could ever really let go of external validation because we are such a social species that we are just wired to tune into others and to make sure that wherever we are, we feel safe and in alignment. So, of course, we're always a little bit busy with thinking of what other people think of us because we are seeking harmony. But I think we are also very obsessive busy with thinking what other people think of us, and especially because of the society we are living in, which has a really individualistic focus and which is very patriarchal, emotionally immature and oppressive, and that is asking of us from a very young age to suppress who we truly are in order to fit in, conform to what is normal, and in order to survive, right? If you fit in and conform to what is normal, you have some kind of promise that you will be okay and manage just fine in the world we are living in. You will receive some money to survive, etc. So there's a lot depending on you fitting in and conforming to what is normal because it literally means your survival. So it's not that crazy or illogical that we all crave external validation. But I also believe that we crave external validation too much right now, or we're not aware how much we crave it, and we're not aware of the subconscious ways in which we are trying to get it. And this subconscious way of trying to get our external validation that we so crave is causing a lot of conflict in relationships and in the world. And it's causing a lot of relational trauma, which is being passed on generation to generation to generation. And in this video, I want to talk to you about the external validation that we're all seeking because of the relational and emotional childhood wounds that we carry within us. And because of the society that we are living in, I believe that every human being has relational wounds and trauma, more or less, of course. Hopefully, we're also breaking traumatic cycles and healing the wounds inside of ourselves and not creating new wounds or hopefully less big wounds in our children. And of course, if you're on this awakening and healing journey and you want to transform yourself in your life and you're seeking mental, spiritual, emotional, physical freedom, then letting go of external validation is a very, very, very important step. So let's dive into what external validation seeking is, why we do it, when it is created, how you can understand what you are actually seeking in others, how you can understand what your mechanisms are that you use to get it from others, and how you can let go of that and heal the wounds inside of you that need this external validation. So in childhood, as a little child, you're so dependent on your parents, on your primary attachment figures to survive. And if they are healthily attached and they have a safe sense of self and they feel emotionally mature and they can attune to you and give you what you need, then you will work out just fine. You will become a resourceful and resilient human being, know who you are, know how to trust the truth that is living inside of you, know how to regulate your emotions and how to speak your truth, speak up and express your authenticity. But if that is not the case, then all of that is not present, right? Then you will experience the opposite of what I just described, or just a little bit of what I just described. And what happens then is that relationally and emotionally, you are not getting your needs met. So you are not attuned in a healthy way to your parents. They are not there, for example. They emotionally neglect you, abuse you. They are unpredictable. They are explosive. They abandon you. There can be all kinds of ways that you carry relational and emotional trauma and that you have wounds inside of you because of the relationship with your parents. And while your parents are responsible for meeting your relational, emotional, spiritual, mental, physical needs, if they're not capable of doing that and attuning to you and being present with you, you will feel lost and alone and abandoned, powerless, and you create stories that you must be a bad person, that you're not worthy of existence. You create all kinds of deficiency stories. That is personal for every human being, which one you create, but we all create deficiency stories of why we're unworthy and why we have to work very hard to receive the validation from our parents that we not really get. So they are responsible for giving you that external validation and to help you internalize it. But if they are not giving you this external validation, but are being very unpredictable in their behavior, not really attuned to you, being busy with their own pain, their own traumas, their own survival in any sense, you internalize not their validation, but their absence. So you internalize almost a gap, an emptiness, a hole. You internalize the unworthiness. You internalize the it is not safe. I don't know who I am. I cannot trust myself because I do not learn it. I do not get healthy mirroring, healthy reflection, healthy boundaries mirrored to me, etc. So in short, this is the story of relational trauma, complex trauma, right? The attachment wounds or attachment trauma that is caused by the collective traumas in the society we are living in and is playing itself out in our family systems. And this trauma is leaving a gap or creating wounds inside of you, a mother wound, a father wound, parental wounds or attachment wounds, and thus relational trauma and relational distrust. Because if you cannot trust that your primary attachment figures are there consistently, are clear, are integer, are truthful, trustworthy, take their responsibility for their own shit, not project their pain onto you and make you responsible for their pain and healing their wounds, then you do not develop a healthy sense of self. And you almost come into a very addictive, codependent relationship with your parents. And you learn that by certain relationship mechanisms or certain behavior, you will get your needs met in some way. So you create relationship or connection mechanisms, as I like to call them, to stay connected to your parents, to attune to them, to tend to their wounds, to heal them, to make them feel good, to make them see you. You do everything you have in your power to stay connected to them and to attach to them and to get the validation you so need. And these connection or relationship or coping mechanisms are not always healthy and helpful when you are an adult, but as a child, they help you to survive in the family system, in the family, in the home where you are living and growing up. So you really need them. So please don't shame yourself for creating such mechanisms. You needed them to survive in the family home because there was no way out, because you were a very little dependent human being. So there was no way out. So the mechanisms you created, you needed to survive. And these mechanisms, you learn that if I just show this and this behavior, such as people pleasing, narcissism, perfectionism, laziness, whatever. I don't know if that really is a mechanism, but procrastination is better. Or manipulation, domination, control, getting very angry, learned helplessness. For all these mechanisms, you learn that if I just use those mechanisms, I will get the love I need, I will get the external validation I need, and my mother or my father or both will finally love me, see me, validate me, and recognize me. And when, as a child, I have that validation, I also feel as if I belong on this planet. This is my sense of belonging that I need to get from my parents. But if they're not able to give that to me, I will never experience a sense of belonging. Especially if they are covertly or overtly, subconsciously or consciously, intentionally or not, asking from me to leave my authentic self, to suppress my authenticity, because that is something they want, they wish, they need, or they just want you to be a certain kind of human being or person because it tends to their wounds, right? It heals their wounds. So maybe they ask of you to enmesh with them and become everything they need you to be because they never went to therapy, watched these videos, and understand that they are also seeking external validation and using their children for that. So, as a little child, we need external validation, and especially from our primary attachment figures, to have a sense of belonging in the world and to feel worthy of existence. to feel worthy of existence, right? And if that is not there, or just a little bit, we tend to feel unfulfilled, empty, lonely, depressed, anxious, deprived of life force energy. We feel sad. We have so much grief or anger inside of us. We feel ashamed. All these kinds of things. And we carry these feelings which are too intense to process. So we suppress them and we dissociate from them. But we carry them with us all into adulthood. And they're still with us today. And this is the reason that we also carry the relationship mechanisms or the coping mechanisms, the connection mechanisms with us. Because we still believe that to receive a sense of belonging and a sense of worthiness, we have to receive the external validation that we never received from our parents. So actually we are still, up until today, seeking the love, the acceptance, the acknowledgement, the warmth, the attachment from our mother and or our father. So seeking external validation is actually nothing more than still trying to find your mommy or your daddy somewhere outside there in the world and finally let them be the mommy and the daddy that you needed so much for them to be when you were a little child. But because we're not aware of this, we project this out into the world, onto our bosses, our managers, our co-workers, our friends, our pets, our brothers, our sisters, our partners, of course. Our romantic partners are always the one we project this on the most, right? And we ask of them to be the mother or father we never had. The wounded child inside of us is subconsciously and covertly, sometimes overtly, asking that of the outside world. And this is the emotional immaturity that we need to become aware of. We need to heal our parental wounds. We need to take the responsibility back and to meet our own needs and to understand how we are still projecting our wounds onto our partners, friends, family, siblings, bosses, leaders, presidents, politicians, entire societies, entire cultural groups, right? This projection is crazy. It goes to everything and anything that we can project it on. And letting go of external validation then means becoming aware of how you are still trying to get your childhood needs met by projecting this out into the world and discovering which mechanisms you created to get your needs met as a little child and how you are now still using these mechanisms to get your needs met right now, to get the validation. And of course, it is letting go of the responsibility of your parents and thus the rest of the world to still meet those needs when you're an adult now. So it's really grieving that these needs were never met and accepting that they will never be met anymore. So it's really about acceptance of the past, accepting the past for what it is, accepting your parents for who they are, were, will be, and never will be, and never were. And if you can really understand that concept, really accept that, feeling the emotions, the anger, the tantrum, the grief that come with that, feeling that, releasing that, then you will finally feel free of the search for the validation of your mother and or your father. And thus external validation. And if you understand that you used people-pleasing, perfectionism, procrastination, learned helplessness, depression, suppression of power, suppression of anger, suppression of vulnerability, suppression of your authenticity, suppression of your boundaries, your no, or if you used narcissism, proving yourself, money, status, power, greed, to get that external validation. Understand which mechanisms are yours. Becoming aware of them, recognizing them, letting go of them, and sitting with the uncomfortable feelings that will arise when you let go of them. When I let go of my people pleasing, wow, this was so uncomfortable. And I also discovered this shadowy part inside of me that said, no, I need to use this people pleasing because I need everybody to like me. And of course, the intention and when it was created was innocent, but there is a shadowy part inside of me that really likes it, that if everybody likes me. And to become aware of that shadow side and the mechanisms that I use to get the external validation and to let go of it freed me. It will free you. It frees you from the external validation seeking, from always being busy and worrying about what other people think of you, because they are not responsible anymore for your validation of your existence and your belonging. You now decide, I belong in this world and I don't need anybody to validate that for me. And if you can let go of that external validation seeking and understanding why you seek it, what you seek, and heal those wounds, become aware of the mechanisms that you use to get the validation, which can be a little bit dark and shadowy. Accept it. It's okay. We're human. We make a mess of it. We try to get our needs met very subconsciously and covertly. But if you understand these mechanisms, become aware of them, you can let go of them and you will feel uncomfortable. You will feel ashamed. You will feel scared. I was very scared to not please anymore because I was really, really, really afraid, which was a very valid fear, that people would get angry with me and explosive and make me responsible for their pain and their emotions, because that is something I know from my past. So I was really, my body was really, really scared to not please anymore. I really felt this, how do you say that, somatic experience of my trauma from the past. And that I had to learn and get to know those sensations. This is the trauma from the past that is being triggered in my body. So I had to understand the bodily sensations that I was trying to protect myself from with people pleasing, for example. So when I let go of the pleasing, I had to sit with the bodily sensations, with the fear of rejection and abandonment, the guilt, etc. So when you decide to let go of your coping or survival or connection mechanisms, you will be faced with the suppressed emotions from your past, which is grief, anger, shame, guilt, and fear of rejection, loneliness, emptiness. You will be faced with your wounds, with the emptiness and the gap, the hole, the wounds that your parents left you. Not intentionally or because all parents are bad people, not at all. It's just where we are at in our society right now, the relational trauma that we are here to heal, and the fact that we are just emotionally maturing and becoming more aware and more sensitive to all the pain and hurt in our society. This is why you are here, breaking the cycles of the relational trauma in your family system. So letting go of the mechanism will force you to sit with the suppressed emotions and pain, hurt, grief, guilt, shame from the past. But if you create a window of tolerance, the emotional tolerance to sit with that and to endure it and to breathe through it, you will be okay and you will feel you are safe. And this is how you create more tolerance and less reaction to the world and a pause in the present moment to choose different behavior, different mechanism, more authentic. And this is how you can start to play and to express your authentic self and to choose the colors and the clothes that you would like to wear, to choose the career, the house, the way of living that you would love. This is how you actually free your authentic self. This is how you actually free the child inside of you that is so full of life and life force energy and that finally feels freed from the pain and hurt and heaviness from the past. And now finally has the time to develop itself, to develop its identity, and to start with getting to know itself. Because so much relational trauma that we have, and the society that is forcing us to suppress our authentic self in a way, that is making us suppress who we truly are and hide who we truly are under layers and layers of pain, trauma, guilt, fake identities, masks, etc. If we free ourselves from that and get out underneath it, then we finally have the space and life force energy to start with developing our authentic identity. Because a child who doesn't get its basic emotional, relational, spiritual needs met gets into a survival mode because it's unsafe. It's not safe. There's no centered, grounded, emotionally mature and present human being to attach to. So if you're not able to attach in a healthy way to the world around you, your attachment with the world around you is very unhealthy and unsafe. And if you learn to finally attach healthily and safely again to yourself, to others, and the world, you finally are able to meet yourself where your development stopped because you had to survive out of unsafety, and you can reparent that child inside of you and let it develop into a beautiful, authentic, mature, emotionally mature human being. Then you will understand that life is here to live and you are here to play and to create. Then you will understand what it truly means to be a free, authentic, fulfilled human being, free of shame, free of conditioning, free of external validation. Because if you do not need the external validation anymore from others, you are so free to be who you wish to be. And I'm so fascinated about this journey out of my own experience, out of my own trauma, out of my own seeking. I've been on this journey for 10 plus years and I've built a company and a platform. It's called Beyond Psychology. That is all about this awakening and healing and transformative journey. And if you need help in that journey, I've created a platform with all my videos that you can watch on YouTube, but with those videos, blogs and exercises, visualization, meditations, writing exercises, all kinds of things that can help you on that journey to let go, for example, of external validation, to heal your past wounds and to free your authentic self. You can become a member and just use that, my platform and my tools, as a psychologist in your pocket. All my tools are designed to help you as if you are in a one-on-one session with me, for example, or with a psychologist, but based on relational trauma, suppression of your authentic self, and all kinds of things that I'm talking about in all my videos. So become a member if you need those tools. If you're on this journey, you're very welcome. On that platform, you can ask questions, you can share your requests or struggles, and I will answer them, or I will make videos, content, exercises around that. Just go and watch in my subscription. You can click on the link, but also feel free to like this video, reply to this video, share this video, because that will definitely help. Follow me on this platform on YouTube. And if you have any questions around this, want to share your experience, your journey of letting go of external validation, feel free to share it too, because we help each other with the stories we tell and showing the way, right, to people who are seeking this internal freedom and who do not know how or when or why.